control where the inspiration goes, yo. Sorry. Why is she so, like, weird? Internet, it's Jessica, and welcome back to England Exchange, and we're gonna continue on with Mark's route, and see what exactly will happen now. I don't even remember where we left off, because it's been a little bit. Oh, right, we got Asi over here. We caught her doing it during work, which wasn't good, and she probably hates us now. I ran into Asi in the hallway. I waved to her, trying to be friendly, but she just looked at me with disgust. So much for that, then. January 9th. Hey, Angie, ready for work today? Yeah. I frowned. Usually if I called Angelo Angie, he would immediately complain that's a girl's name, not mine. It was basically a running joke by now, but this time I only got silence. You feeling up to it today? Yeah. He avoided my eyes, staring at the floor. I'll wait by the elevator. And then he left for the hall. What was going on with him? As the day wore on, it only got worse. Angelo, can you pass me that cloth? He grabbed the cloth and held it in the direction of my voice, staring at the floor. Toss it here. He threw it without even aiming, and I squeaked. I leaped to one side, catching it out of the air and narrowly avoiding knocking the glass of water onto the guest's laptop. What's wrong with you? Did you not see what almost happened? What are you talking about? Now he's like looking at me angrily. You almost ruined that computer. We could have lost our jobs. But nothing happened, so it's fine. Why have you been acting weird all day? What's up with you? He grunted and scuffed his feet onto the floor. I'm not going to finish doing this room until you tell me. You can do all the work yourself if you want, but I'm waiting. He looked at me, eyes knitted together in desperation. He glanced at the bed and the dresser and the bedroom, then back at me, bouncing up and down like a little boy. Fine. I'm annoyed that people are so constantly treating me like a girl. I don't look like a girl, do I? But because of a mistake with my name, people assume I was a woman, and now I'm forced to do women's work day in and out. Is that really, like, racist that you need to be having right now? I still didn't think it was the reason for the program assigned him to work here. Ashley worked at the pub, and she was definitely a woman, but he was still fixing the stupid idea. What's wrong with women's work? There's nothing wrong with women's work. I respect it and women very much. Yeah, okay. But I'm not a woman. I wouldn't ask a woman to do my job. That would be disrespectful towards her. I am being made to do a woman's job, which is a disrespectful towards me. Before you came, I accepted this mistake, but recently it has become a grate on me. What makes you think it's disrespectful? Angela looks at me as if I've grown a second head. Of course it's disrespectful. I would never ask my sister to do my work at home. I helped them carry the heaviest groceries, and they did my laundry without protest. I would not ask them to move in the furniture or carry out repairs in the house. Okay, I get it. It's like probably their upbringing, right? That's why his mentality is so different from like my mentality. But at the same time, I feel like if that's the way you grow up and like the world is kind of like catching up now that's not okay, you know, to have these like all these like freaking stereotypes and whatever. I just hope that Angelo is open to that, you know, like learning about like how it doesn't have to be that way. But I don't know, because sometimes some people who think like that can be ignorant, or if they think one way, they can be ignorant about the other way. So I just hope that he won't be. That's what I hope for. If they stepped and finished my work, it would mean I hadn't done my job quickly enough and they would be impatient. It was an insult in a way. One of us has overstepped our boundaries, and then we weren't capable. We are not being good women and men. So of course it is disrespectful. I see. Get over it. I'm trying to get into Mark's route, so I gotta be mean to him. I just like, honestly, I don't want to say get over it, but I have to be like, it's different now. That's what I want to say. Just be like, it doesn't have to be that way, but I don't even know what you mean by being good women and men. Women and men can do whatever they like. They can share the same job. It's not a big deal. Angela frowned at me. Of course they can. In fact, we're doing it now, but that doesn't change the fact that it's disrespectful towards me. I shook my head. No, you're not getting it. It's not disrespectful. Not in the real world. There's no such thing as women's work. Just work. In the real world? Are you saying that I've been living in a playpen until now? No, but your family isn't the universal standard. Most people haven't progressed beyond that point. So my family has no progress now? You think that we're primitive backwards? Do you think my family oppressed my sister? Are my mama and my sisters being kept in tow by me? I never said that. This is the thing I hate too. Like when you're trying to say the other side, these people jump to conclusions and it's just like, dude, shut up. You don't know anything about my family's lives or what my life is like. I love my sisters. That's not... Please, let me finish the room now. He went into the bathroom and turned to the bathtub water. He wouldn't hear me over it unless I was shouting at him. Frustrated, I grabbed my cloth and resumed dusting the dressers. The rest of the day passed by well enough. Since Angelo had gotten everything off his chest, I hope he could see now how silly he was being. Regardless, we finished the work early and headed for home. January 10th. Our ugly room. Someone was knocking at my door. Oh. Hey, Jessica, I'm making the rounds on the top of the loo roll. To do what? He handed me over 2 rolls of toilet paper. Oh, thanks. There's usually some stored in the kitchen, but James won't stock too much in case someone nicks it. Try not to run out. Yeah, that would be awkward. He waved and headed down to the next door. It was the first thing in the morning. I'd barely woken up when I heard a soft knock at my door. Oh my god, there he is! I opened it and looked to see Mark. Yes? What are you doing here? Hello, so I wanted to apologize. Apologize for what? The other night at dinner. After reflecting a bit on what you said, I realized that you were correct. I insulted everybody at the table, including you, and was rude about it. I didn't see the error in my own ways. Well, at least you're growing. You're accepting. You know, you acknowledge that you made a mistake. That's good. I'm apologizing to everybody else as well, but I wanted to make sure you knew that I appreciate your words. I wasn't sure how to respond. To tell the truth, I was shocked. It was such a direct, simple, straightforward answer. I rarely ever received a straightforward apology, even in situations that deserve it, like a huge fight among friends or family. Now told a stranger was apologizing to me for remarks most people would simply have forgotten about? Well, thank you. It's no problem, but may I tell you something? I blinked at him, and after a moment hesitation, he continued. I have been very confused. I don't think I can talk to people very well normally without them becoming angry. Since the other night, I've been noticing it in almost everybody I talk to. It was worse than I thought. It has been a bit of a problem, because I think everybody's avoiding me now. Aw, poor guy! People are not so sensitive in France as they are here. He laughed merrily, but I didn't see the joke. Was he French then? He didn't sound French to me. Maybe I was used to the parody of French accents? Well, I don't want to put you in the charade of pretending to be something I'm not, or to respond less than honesty to them, but my genuine response seems to be arouse anger. It's a conundrum. What should I do about it? How should I know? Maybe it's in the phrasing. Most people tell a little bit. I think it's the way he speaks, right? Because, like he said, people in France don't take issue to how he speaks, and I think it's just the mannerism. Every country and culture has a different mannerism or the different way of speaking, so it's probably the phrasing. That's what I think. I don't think you should lie, but I think it's the phrasing. I think you're phrasing your opinions too bluntly. I'm pretty sure there are ways you can put what you want to say that doesn't seem quite so aggressive. Ah, I see. He tapped on the tip of his chin with a slender finger. It seems I'll have to give this more thought. Anyways, thank you for your help. You are a very kind person. I know, I've realized that I'm probably not the easiest person to deal with. Thank you for dealing with me. He beamed at me, and my heart felt oddly lighter. You know, I'm usually by myself reading books in the library, up in the philosophy section. You should come visit me sometime there. Okay, sure! He waved happily and skipped off down the hall. Considering he was now aware that no one around here liked him, it was odd that he was so happy. Oh well, with what that done, it was time to get on with my day. I think he's just happy at least he has one person who doesn't hate him. January 12th. These days are just flying by. Oh, the ugly kitchen. I had just finished eating when Peggy sprinted into the dining room. Upon seeing me, she lunged at my hands. Jessica, I need your help. Okay, with what? Danny has team's tryouts today, football tryouts, and I want to try, but I don't want to go alone. Scared I'll make me an idiot of myself, do you know what I mean? I know you're into sports and are part of some teams back in the States. Won't you go with me? Joining his team would be a great way to impress Danny and spend more time with him, and possibly Peggy as well. Okay, I can't because we're not going to go branch off in that route, but I would love to go with Peggy because she seems like a fun girl, so no thanks though, sorry. No thanks, I'm no good at soccer. Oh, Peggy's face fell, and I felt a little bad, but there was no way I was going to make a fool of myself in front of Danny, and who knew who else. You can do it though, I believe in you. Right, well, thanks anyway, Jessica. She waved and jogged off. January 14th. I think it's just getting to know, like, what route we're gonna pick, right? I think that's what's happening. Since I come all the way to another country, I should probably spend time exploring, shouldn't I? I left the hostel and took off down the street, unsure where I was going but not really caring. I did this often when I lived in New York, just wandering. Usually I found an interesting shop or at least end up with a story to tell. Now though, I felt completely confused. The streets of London were both very different and not different at all. The air was thinner and it felt better to breathe. When I signed up for this program, I warned that most Americans would get sick in the first weeks of living in London because of the air pollution, the London smog. Coming from New York City though, it didn't bother me a bit. I kept noticing the architecture. The older style of buildings reminded me of home, but these buildings were cleaner and clearly older. The walkways were broad and clean. And in the business district, giant plazas filled with people in business suits and sharp English accents. Everything was so simple, but so different. I felt like I was walking through plastic, not really connected to anything I was seeing. In no time, I felt exhausted. I hadn't walked too far, but maybe the simulation was too much, or maybe I was still jet-lagged. I collapsed into a cafe near the park. Hopefully the owner wouldn't mind too much if I was smooching. They probably got people like me all the time, so I hope that they were used to it. As I rubbed the sore neck, something caught my eye. This is the last character we're supposed to run into! I completely forgot there was one more. A young Asian woman with short black hair and thick rimmed glasses stood over the canvas, muttering under her breath. At least I think it was supposed to be under her breath, but I could hear her from here. Supposed to capture the light if it keeps moving. I didn't think it would be so... She seemed frustrated about her painting. I tilted my head a bit to catch more glimpse of what she was working on. It was a stylized landscape of the park, I think. I tilted my head the other way. No, it was a realistic watercolor? Wasn't it? What was she trying to do? Curious, I got up and slided over to her, hoping I didn't seem too creepy. It didn't make any better sense for being this angle, but from the looks of that woman, she was an artist. She had this whole bohemian thing that suggested for her. It was all about the flow things, man. I glanced at her again and accidentally made eye contact. What do you think? I'm sorry, I don't mean to be rude. I just wanted a better look. I was curious. What do you think? It looks good? I'm a little... What are you trying for here? I wanted to capture the landscape as I see it. What does that mean? For your perspective, or... Well, yes, from my perspective, not point of view, not a specific location. Well, I mean, yes, a specific location, but also my perspective. Okay? She had a foreigner accent of some sort, but that wasn't actually the reason. I found her words to be a bit hard to follow. Actually, there was something familiar about her voice, but I couldn't quite... What do you feel when you look at this? Confused, but I would never actually tell her that. It seems a little Morse and a little, maybe, do you have a lot on your mind? It seems like you're looking for something but not really finding it. That's how I'd put it, I think. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to insult you. You didn't insult me. A tone of voice suggested otherwise, though. She was silent for a bit as I continued to feign interest in her canvas. At this point, the conversation was awkward. I wanted to get out of there as soon as possible, but I couldn't really think of a way to get going. What should I do? This is why I never talk to strangers! It's cool. I looked up, startled. I mean, not everybody gets art, you know. Everybody's got their own place. We all got our own paths, man. Why is her glasses glinting? I nodded slowly. Her demeanor seemed to have changed, but I didn't quite know how to feel about it. I'm Jiho, by the way. If you couldn't tell, I'm not from around here. Ah, she's Korean. That's why her voice reminded me a little bit of Jinso. I'm Jessica. Me either. I'm from New York, and I'm staying at a hostel a few blocks away. Are you? I am too. Mine's called The One. The Decent Enough. It's decent enough. It does what I needed to do. Wait, The One? But that's where I'm staying. It is? Why haven't I seen you around? I've been there for a few days already, and I haven't seen you eating with us. Oh, I've been busy sketching and trying to scout the perfect location, you know? Art never sleeps. When I get that drive, I just have to go out and start painting. How long have you been doing art? It's hard for me to figure that out. A long time long I can remember, on and off, I guess. I didn't start seriously pursuing it until a few years ago. That's pretty cool. Yeah, man, cool, super cool, yo. There it is again. What was that weird tone? Anyways, I'm gonna go head back now. The lighting shifted, so I might be just go work on it at the hostel. Let me come with you. Sure, if you say so. I watched her pack up her massive array of paints, brushes, easel, and canvas onto the black bag nearby, as big as she was. The only time I'd ever seen people with bags like those are in the movies, so I was kind of surprised. The hostel was only a few blocks away, so we made it in a little under 5 minutes, making fairly polite conversation. Well, it was nice to meet you, Jessica. Maybe I'll see you around some more. She left before I could think of something better to say than yeah. As I headed to the bathroom, I realized how hard my heart was pounding, and I just sustained an entire conversation with a stranger in London, and even made a new friend. That would be me. Like, I'd be stressed out because I would talk to a person for 5 minutes. What a good day. Alright, January 15th. The nice thing about living in the hostel was that despite the thin walls, it was often pretty quiet. People were often working or at school, so it was easy to find peace and quiet. It was quiet enough to hear the birds outside my window, the wind howling through the cracks of the wood. Quiet enough to hear footsteps in the hallway. Rapid, heavy footsteps like someone was on a mission. Why does everybody keep knocking at my door? A relentless pounding beat on my door, and in time, it took me to stand in front of my desk and cross the room. It grew several decibels louder. I pulled it open to find Peggy on the other end, eyes electric. Jessica, I need your help. Sign my petition, please. What? See, uni is far, far behind the times as far as the green movement goes. You think that a place of intellectualism and education would be concerned about the future of the world. The future of its very patrons, but no. No! It's too left to those of us on common sense, desire, and passion to find a way to get our world out of this ridiculous predicament it's in. Our way of life is totally unsustainable. There's no way we'll be living like this in 30 years. Right now, we are pumping up cheap clothes just to throw them away in a year. We are stripping the soil of nutrients to grow food that will most likely waste. If we go in like this, nothing will grow and the sea will rise and drown the coastlines, and we'll just have to eat nothing but insects. And you can bet your bullocks that we'll be sorry that nobody invested in clean energy, and we'll end up running out of fossil fuels. Whoa, okay, I get it. She can really get carried away. So yeah, what's the petition for exactly? I want the university to commit to more using renewable energy resources. London completely ignores solar power because it's cramped roof spaces and poor weather, but we have big buildings and we can make it work. London wasn't exactly a sunset place in the world, but what did I know? Please sign it. I know you're the kind of person who believes in changing the future. Nobody else has signed it, so... She looked sad saying it, so I couldn't help but pity her. Sure, I'll sign it. Yes, get in! She was dancing around and punching the air. You'd think she entered the gladiator arena and managed to make it out alive. Do you think you might do me another favor? That depends on the bit of favor. Would you help me get signatures from everybody here? For some reason, I can't seem to sit anyone down long enough to talk to them. Probably because she was the one starting preaching. She lost track of her targets and then they all ran away. Yeah, she kind of just started yelling. That's kind of why. I knew she meant well. She was just a little over-enthusiastic. A softer approach might work better if I were willing to take that time to help Peggy out. Oh man, I guess this is like helping her into her route, but I'm trying to go to Mark. I feel so bad because I like her so much, but I can't. I'm sorry, girl. I have something to study for, so if you don't mind... Oh, yeah, that's okay, I understand. It was like I smacked that puppy dead in the face. Well, I'll see you around then. I'll find people to sign it, no matter what. And her fire was back. I watched her stomp up down the hall and then return to my room with a grateful sigh. January 16th. Ooh, the university library was a little less friendly than the ones I'd usually see in America. Back home, even high school students could visit campus libraries and take notes and check references, although they need special permission to check anything out. I had done papers for history class that way. Here, the whole library was behind a security gate that needed a university ID to get through. There were multiple lanes, in and out traffic, like the one in Underground, but it could still make an awful bottleneck at the busy time of day. I had vaguely heard about the scandal where a guy stole rare books from a British library to sell them online auction. Maybe that was why they were so tight on security? Didn't Mark say he hung out here a lot? Maybe I should try to go find him. Which section should I look in? He was in philosophy, right? Right? Yeah! I looked around to the philosophy section and spotted Mark sitting at the table. He had a wide array of books spread in front of him, and so in the moment I wondered if I should bother him. Then he looked up, saw me, and waved me over. Jessica, it's good to see you. Hi! I took a seat and quickly lowered my voice. It was a library after all. So, you study philosophy? All study is philosophy. The word means the love of wisdom. But isn't philosophy one of those abstract concepts that you said wasn't important? The belief that abstract concepts are less important than living concern is itself a philosophy. From there, the conversation got a bit convoluted. Still, Mark was never angry when I disagreed with him or had him asked to explain the term he was using. He was an interesting person to talk to. Weird, but interesting. I like that. January 17th. Oh god. Hey, Jessica. As soon as I walked through the door, Azzy escorted me. Head to room 304. A guest vomited all over the floor, and they need someone to clean it up. She grinned, and I honestly sullened. She always gave me the most disgusting jobs. What did I ever do to her? Other than the one thing, but it wasn't my fault. There was nothing I could do now but go along with it. Ew. January 18. Ooh! This room is disgusting as well! As I entered the hostel common room, I spotted Jiho inside. She had told me she was living here, but it was the first time I'd actually run into her here, so to speak. I might have expected the artist to relax on one of the colorful beanbags, but she was perched on the sofa, leaning forward like a student trying to memorize the notes on the board. Coming closer, I realized she had sketchpad on her lap. She must have been working on something. Is it alright if I watch TV? What? Sorry to disturb you. I'm not disturbed. No, not disturbed. So do you mind if I turn on the TV then? It's fine. I took a seat, not too close, and turned on the set, though I kept the sound low. I stuck a peek or two at Jiho just to be sure that I wasn't bothering her, but her attention seemed completely focused on the paper in front of her. She must be good at tuning out the rest of the world. Thinking that, I relaxed and watched my show. BBC programs didn't have the commercial breaks exactly, but they did run a few promotions for other shows between the time slots. I leaned back and yawned and caught Jiho staring right at me. That's true! In the UK, right, you guys have no commercials on TV, right? Because your government, like, pays for that stuff? Is that how that works? I don't know, because I live in North America, we have commercials everywhere. What? What? Did you say something strange? No, I sometimes stare into space when I'm thinking. Oh, I've done that. I didn't mean to make her feel awkward. So, what are you working on? A study? Something you're studying for class? No, a study, a preparation, planning for a painting. Oh, I see. What are you gonna paint? I don't know. She stood up. Like the ideas just come to me, you know? You dig? Right? You can control where the inspiration goes, yo. Sorry. Why is she so, like, weird? She picked up her sketchpad and left the room. I hope I hadn't upset her, but I found her a bit hard to understand. January 19. Passed by Angelo in the hall. His shirt seemed oddly lumpy. Angelo? He jumped. A small bag of yarn and 2 knitting needles fell out from under his shirt. You saw nothing. I saw nothing. He hurried away. Should I? No, I think it's better to leave that one alone. That was weird. January 20th. Peggy, Danny, Angelo, and I were eating lunch in the dining room when James looped through the doorway. Yufa, the front garden is a mess. Are you just gonna leave it like that? Pardon? I hadn't seen a garden anywhere around here. It took me a moment to work out that he meant the yard. That's not our responsibility, is it now? Yes, it is now. I want it cleaned by tonight or I'm going to throw you out of your rooms. With that, he left. He can't be serious. He's not serious, right? You haven't been here long as I have. This is my 2nd year, and I'm sad to say he's done much worse. So immediately after eating, we discarded our plans for the day and went to the front yard. Despite the fact that it was in the middle of winter, scraggly weeds were visibly growing out of the flower beds and clumping up here and there in the grass. I stared at them, unsure of what to do. I didn't really have a yard back in New York. Danny shrugged and got down on his knees and started pulling plants out of the ground. After a second, the other 2 were in different areas of the lawn and followed suit. I wasn't confident enough to do it on my own. Who should I join? Let's join Peggy, because I like her the second! I knelt next to Peggy, who was muttering under her breath faster than I could keep up. Creepy old tosser. Thinks he can just do whatever the bloody hell he wants. So up himself to get lost in there. I swear to God, if I ever get my hands on him. Without meaning to, I burst into laughter. Peggy looked at me, offended. Oi! What's the matter with you? Your accent. It gets so thick when you're mad. It's just hilarious. Peggy frowned at me. Nothing I can do about it, is there? No, it's not a bad thing. It's not. I think it's actually really cute, actually. I think it's cute, too. Peggy flushed, almost red as her hair. I mean, thank you. It's not like, I don't really mean that I know how to respond to that. You know, it's not just something that people say. And, you know, deep breaths, Peggy. Breathe. Peggy stopped and took a deep breath. Right. Well, thank you. That was nice of you. You're welcome. Smiled at her. Her eyes widened. Then she turned her attention to the plants, enraged yet again. Out! Out, damn plot! She dove into the dirt, digging weeds out more like a dog than a gardener. It was all I could do to keep the area from winding up utterly barren. Hours later, we sat exhausted in front of the walkway, wiping sweat from our brows. James came around the front, dipping an orange drink from his hand. He glanced around the yard and nodded. It'll do! The alcohol in his breath almost stung my eyes. He jerked his head, and we moved out of his way so he can get into the hostel. I hate that guy. Somehow, as a collective, we sighed. You're not the only one. That was actually really cute with Peggy. I like that. I came into the kitchen silently late in the evening, planning to just grab a quick sandwich or something before bed. Oh, Ashley! Ashley was there, scrubbing something in the sink. Oh, Jessica! I'm sorry, I just put food away. I was washing up. There's leftovers in the fridge if you want them. Here, let me help you with that. Oh, you're sweet! I stepped up next to Ashley at the sink. A frying pan with what looks like a casserole dish were there along with some plates. What were you making earlier? Fish pie! Fish pie? Why would you put fish in a dessert? Not a dessert pie! What other kind of pie is there? Fish pie, pork pie, steak and kidney pie, shepherd's pie. Don't you have pie in America? I guess we have chicken pot pie and lobster pot pie. So you call it pot pie if it's savory? I guess so. I never really thought about it. There really wasn't any reason you couldn't bake in meat or fish or vegetables inside a pie shell after all. Curious now, I peek inside the fridge, but I couldn't see a pie tin or any slices. Where are the leftovers? In the tub there. How is that a pie if there's no pastry? It's just a pile of mashed potatoes on top of some fish and cheese sauce. Just try it. Well, if Ashley had made it, it probably was good, even if it wasn't really a pie. Ashley's the cook after all. January 22nd. Oh my god, there was Mark again. I passed by Mark in the hall. He was just singing softly to himself in a language I didn't understand. Glanced at him questioningly and he laughed. Toka? Slavi? What? Huh? But he just went into his room without explaining. That was definitely not French. What did he say? Who was Mark anyway? Well, I wasn't gonna get any answers today. I wouldn't be like, what did you say? Like, what are you talking about? I was on my way back to the hostel when I saw something jammed into the front door. Was there really the end of the volleyball net? Why would someone be trying to drag the volleyball net inside? Bloody worthless piece of crap, tilt already! Oh. I decided to walk around the block a bit more before going back to my room. Man, these days are just flying by, huh? I passed by Jiho in the hall, carrying a large canvas. Hi. She jumped when she saw me, scrambling to hide the paint that was... okay. Scrambling to hide the paint she was holding, dropped it, picked it up, rammed it into her still closed door, clawed the door handle until she got it open, threw the canvas aside and shut the door. I stared at her. A lot of people are weird in this game, huh? She opened her door again and followed her canvas into the room, closing the door firmly behind her. Don't tell me she forgot to go inside the first time. Just what it was on that canvas she was so eager to hide from me. 26. Oh, Brandon, I forgot this guy was in this game too. Hey there, Jessica. Hey, Brandon, hi. Brandon came up to me while I was reading in the living room. What's that book about? It's something Mark recommended. It's pretty complicated, all about explaining the ideas of famous philosophers through the natural world. Ah, sounds interesting. He didn't look interested at all. I chuckled and continued reading. Well, that's good. I glanced up at him. Yeah. He didn't say anything else, so I went back to the book. Yeah, pretty great. Oh, God. Why is this so awkward? I looked up again. Is there something you need? Were you wanting to talk? No, of course not. I'm gonna go then. Oh, okay. Did I offend him or something? See ya, Jessica. Goodbye? Off he went. What a weird conversation. I set the book down next to me, no longer feeling like reading. Did I do something wrong, or what was that about? 27. Today, I packed up my first paper from my literature class, covering in red marks. Apparently, even though they knew I was American, I was expected to use British spelling at all times. Oh, that sucks! That really sucks. I know, okay, because, like, in Canada, we have, like, the spelling of the UK, so we put U's, like, example, the word color, we put U in it, and in United States, they don't put the U in it whatsoever, so I can see how that may be annoying and may be difficult to, like, cross over to. Weren't we supposed to be joined by common language? I would have to reset the spell check on my laptop to remind me about all these extra U's in words. Well, it was a part of the English experience, I suppose. I just have to get used to it. That sucks. Absolutely exhausted, I decided to head down to the Crafty Crown after work. A nice drink and some time off of my feet sounded great. I sat down on one of the high bar chairs and scanned the counter, unsure of what exactly to do. was my first time being served at a real, actual bar. And I'd been to restaurants with bars in them, and even stuck into a few nightclubs here and there, but I never actually ordered myself a drink. What was I supposed to call the bartender to me, or... Hello there. Brendan appeared before me, an easy smile on his face and a glint in his eye. Oh, hello, I forgot that you worked here. Indeed I do. How may I help such a lovely lady? My face grew out. Dude, stop! I would like a drink, please. An alcoholic drink. He smirked. Alright, what kind of drink? A vodka cranberry? At a toss from the kinds of drinks that they actually serve in bars, I asked her the first thing that came to my mind. Had ridiculous titles like Sex on the Beach. No way I could order that from him. Okay, it's a drink, come on now. Brandon nodded at my order and started preparing the drink, which I assumed meant that it wasn't so strange of a choice. You planning on partying a lot while you're here? I guess. I haven't really thought about it very much about what I'm going to do while I'm here. How old are you? I looked away. It was legal for me to drink while I was in England, I was pretty sure, but I still felt like I was doing something wrong. 19? He paused, looking at me with surprise. Not old enough to drink back home, eh? No? Is that a problem? Brendan looked and glanced down at the bar, then leaned forward and whispered in my ear. To be honest, I'm only 20. He pulled away and gave me a wink. So how about we just keep a secret between the both of us? I won't tell if you won't. I grinned. Deal. But how did you end up being a bartender? Don't you have to pass a test or something usually? Well, I'm still new to the craft, so I hope I don't mind that I'll probably mess up a ton. Oh no, that's no problem. Here's a drink, by the way. Sorry it took a bit. I was distracted. By what, me? He was looking at me intensely, and suddenly I felt like I was the next in line for a roller coaster. It's no problem. He smiled again. Well, it was still relatively early. There weren't many other customers to serve, and it seemed like Ashley had them covered. Instead, sat his elbows on the counter. So, where exactly are you from? The Bronx, New York? Whoa, got a big city girl, don't we? And what set you off to this journey? Oh, I just wanted to, experience new horizons? I hesitated. Brandon was looking at me with such openness. I felt like I could trust him. It was a little embarrassing to explain what really brought me here, but since coming here had been constantly on my mind, might as well get it off my chest. To be honest, I don't really have much of an idea what I want to do in life. I've never been in another country. I've never been out of the Northeast before. I figured getting out and seeing the world might help you decide. It's no good living in a bubble. I guess from one big city to another isn't much different, but at least there will be people here from other parts of the world. He nodded satisfied. I'm from Miami myself. We're both in the East Coasters, even if you way up north. Not so different. I figured Miami was more like California, all beaches and blondes in swimsuits. Well, we still have a lot of hot babes in swimsuits, but we have a lot more old people. A lot of people retire in Miami. A lot of people also sell drugs, but that's the same thing in any big city. So you won't mind if I tell you I do, too? Do you want any? What? That's such a weird thing to say. Hey, by the way, do you want drugs? What? I'm joking, calm down. You're pretty gullible, aren't you? He picked up a cloth from the counter and began to fold it, stopping when it became too small to continue starting over again. You should be careful. You don't know what kind of people are here in England. Can't let your defenses down. But I'm sure living in New York has taught you that. Maybe, but I'm sure I'll be fine. Even if you need any help, you can come to me. I'll be sure to protect a cute girl as you. Oh my god. Thanks, that's sweet. You only protect cute girls? Shouldn't you want to protect anyone who needed it, not just the cute girls? I know that was just a compliment, but got a sassy one here, I like it. Was that supposed to be a compliment too? It wasn't much of a compliment as saying someone you're cute when you're angry. I don't need to be protected, I can take care of myself. I've handled my share of creeps. He nodded. You seem like a pretty strong girl. I didn't make it to 19 by trusting everybody yet, I see. Good lesson to learn. By the way, how's your drink? I glanced at the cup in my hands. I was so busy talking with Brandon that I forgot I even ordered a drink. I quickly took a sip. Ugh! It's really strong. Is that bad? Sorry, I told you I'm not very good at this. Maybe it's supposed to taste this way. Just keep practicing, dude. I don't even know what it tastes like, so... It's not good, but maybe the next one will be better, right? That might have sounded a little flirtatious, but didn't seem to notice. Yeah, I'm gonna have to get better at this. A vodka cranberry was a pretty simple drink, too. He really wasn't qualified to mix drinks at all. Was he hired here just for his looks or something? Actually, I wouldn't be surprised if he was. He glanced past me, then flipped off the cloth over his shoulder. Looks like I've got some customers to serve. I guess I'll see you around. Yeah, I'm sure you will. We live in the same building after all. Great, see you later. Great! He walked off to intercept a couple who had just come in. They appeared to enjoy the view, but those poor people had no idea what they were in for. Okay, guys, I'm gonna end this episode of England Exchange right there. I think we're still in the kind of the beginning part of like getting to know the other characters before we choose who we want to romance. Still making sure I pick the options that will lead me to Mark, so hopefully I will get into his route. But so far, I still feel like everyone is so weird in this game. Is it me or what? Like, everyone's so weird. I feel like even Mark perceives himself as like a weird guy. I still think he's like the most normal one. I don't know why. I just feel like that way. Anyway, if you guys enjoyed this video, remember to leave a like. Let me know in the comments what you think. And be sure to subscribe and hit the bell button so you know when I upload the next episode of England Exchange. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you all in the next one. Bye! We can poison Mark?! Oh shit! 1, 2, or 3. What do you guys want to do? I don't know. Whatever you want to do. Holy shit! You can actually poison Mark? And sometimes that brings people together in a not so cute way. Here are 6 terribly awkward romances in video games. Number 6. Cole and Elsa.